Welcome back to Rugga Muffin Podcast. We've just witnessed an epic final. And Nko, I'm happy to admit, I'm happy to be wrong. I call New Zealand to win it in a tight final. South Africa came through by a point again.
It's been 3 points. That's the difference that we've had all the way from the semis till winning the final. 3 points, 1 point on each game. I'm happy to take it. It was exhausting. My heart has been in my ass. I almost shed it out. I'll take the win. We took the hard road and we made it very hard for ourselves. And I'm happy to say we've won, but it was a hard watch.
Sia goes into the next realm now. He's a legend in my eyes. So is Rassie. Perhaps so is Jacque Nienaber, but that's still out there.
I want to say now, if we don't win the World Cup for the next 20 years, I think everybody, all the 60 million South Africans will be okay with it. We've made history. We should be on par now with the likes of the All Blacks. We've had 2 less World Cups than most people, than the most
Sure.
less than most nations playing in
English,
the World
but
Cup.
it's fine.
Yes, we've had 2 less World Cups, but yet we are the first one to win it 4 times, the second team to win it back to back. I think this, I would say, earns us the respect of rugby internationally. We ought to be at the level of the mighty All Blacks, which they deserve. Hopefully now we also deserve it.
We can't skip past the talking point, the red card. But New Zealand has had discipline issues throughout, not even the World Cup, through the season and the previous seasons. At Twickenham, they lost, I think, 2 players into the sin bin. And it showed up again today.
Yes. And I want to say that's what pressure does. That coaching group and the players have been under strain from the very beginning. So Fozzie has been going through it. His players have been going through it with him. And that pressure builds and builds. And the guys, they're the All Blacks. They're always desperate to win. And they're always within the margins of what's right and what's wrong. So they did what they could.
But today was not Scott Barrett, it was the captain.
Yes.
How big was that?
For me, I completely understand it. The pressure was on. This was a time for them to redeem themselves as this group. They've had a lot of pressure in New Zealand. I think undue, They didn't seem to get a chance.
But it's not undue, Chief. I think rugby is their biggest export.
Yes. But that being said, this group was never given the time. From the time Fozzie got in and the first trip up he had, everybody was on them in New Zealand. And they've done what nobody expected to have even got to where they got to. So the pressure was always on them, which has led to them going over the fine margin and ending up with cards because they've had to do everything possible to win it. So I understand.
Now we throw forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the World Rugby Awards. We had 4 finalists. 2 from the Northern Hemisphere. We had Eben Etzebeth. And I can't remember, who was the 4th? A New Zealander.
Yes.
Does this win tonight give it to Eben?
Will Jordan.
Was it Will Jordan?
Yeah, Will Jordan. Yeah, I think DuPont, you can't leave DuPont out of it. DuPont will probably make it, I have a feeling.
Why?
Because he's going into the World Cup, he was the player. He was very, very important to the French. We saw his impact. He broke his cheekbone, made it all the way back with titanium on it, got into the game, made a difference that nobody could deny.
I'm sorry.
And it was their World Cup as well. I think that will push it through for them.
So I think if DuPont wins the World Player of the Year award, for me, it's a case of the French hosted it, they didn't get to the final. Let's appease the nation. That's my belief.
It's a big thing that he had done, though, with his weight in the team and the work that they had done to get to the semi-final and to get there with DuPont, who had a broken cheekbone. He had to put titanium on his cheekbone.
Adi Savia, who was the other finalist from New Zealand.
Oh, not Will Jordan.
No.
And he didn't break the record. That's another big talking point. We expected him to break the record. He didn't break the record.
He should have done that last week.
Yeah.
But Muanga screwed him over.
But Muanga was making him hungry for this game.
And the hunger showed.
No.
The man was depleted.
Yeah. He wanted it. He wanted it. It was just a stretch too much.
What does that mean for Sia, Rassie, and the gang?
No, this is it. This is a curtain call. They've done the impossible. We've won the 4th World Cup. We've won with the second team to do a back-to-back. And we are starting from scratch now. So I think it's going to be a tough few years for South Africa. We are not going to have it as good as we've had. But we have to accept that we're on the build-up again. And we've been lucky to be where we are. What's your feeling on it? What do you think? Do you think we'll carry a lot of momentum from these wins? Or are we starting back to bare bones? The URC's on as well.
My take is you can't carry momentum when people are checking out of the team. So whoever comes in as the coach and director of rugby need to sell what Rassie sold. And the players need to buy into it. And if that happens, we're in a very good position.
And we need to start building a different squad now with the core of the players that we currently have, the young ones, and building up from there. Because we're looking at players like Kwagga. They're probably, as young as they are, they might not make it to the next World Cup even.
No.
You see. And we are looking at Visser. Visser's probably not going to make it to the next World Cup either. He'll play still, but it's probably a stretch to make it to the next World Cup. So we really have to be brave now and start selecting the younger players and build a new core. Not with the next World Cup in mind, probably will be competitive 2 World Cups from now.
Look, I think South Africa is always going to be competitive. But if you like what you're doing, share, like, subscribe, click on the bell. And if you really like what you're doing, comment, tell us what you think.
A question for you guys out there. What do you think made it for South Africa? What was the difference that made us cross the line? And also, with New Zealand's discipline, do you think it's the pressure that got to them? Why are they playing the fine margin so much? Answer in the comments there. And we'd like to thank Pirates. It was a humdinger of a hosting from day one. It was unbelievable. A club with so much history and dedicated community. We'd love to thank them for hosting us, and we hope to build onto the relationship and contribute.
What he said.